Hey everybody, and welcome back to another Metroid 2 remake. Last time, we explored the tower and the distribution center, the final two Chozo ruins to find down here in SR388. Distribution center was a massive endeavor, but we got there. This time, we have 6 Metroids left, but for the first good chunk of this video, we're actually not going to be going after them. Instead, we're going to be using the distribution center up there to go back to previous areas and grab items and secrets that we have missed. This is the big backtrack that's introduced in AM2R, and honestly, I don't think it's that bad, although you could argue it's unnecessary, and I might agree, but then again, I don't know, I think it kind of adds something to the game. First though, I gotta make my way through this room, which oh yeah, I can just freeze these guys. What am I doing? Speaking of which, I forgot to show you what the ice beam looks like on its own, so let me turn off all the other ones, and there it is. Here it is with Spazer. Here it is with Plasma. Here it is with Plasma and Wave. And here it is all at once. I don't feel the need to show every single possible beam combination. It's a shame. I'm gonna take you guys away from this awesome music. We'll be back very briefly in the very distant future. But anyway, to start our final backtrack roundup thing, we're going to Golden Temple. If I can fit inside. And funnily enough, the room that the fast travel drops you into is actually exactly where we need to go. Because remember that this room had our first ever silver door in it down here at the bottom. And it also had this, which now we know what that does. Right here. Climb to the top of the room, and also freeze these guys. They deal 1 damage. Oh my god. They deal 1 damage with the gravity suit. That's amazing. I guess you could say these birds don't know the gravity of the situation. And here is a power cell. Now this is probably the most annoying power cell in the game because it can bounce through these doors that can never be closed, and then if it goes too far, it'll despawn. In the worst cases, it bounces into the doors, but doesn't go far enough, and so then it doesn't respawn, so you have to enter and leave and re-enter the room, which will respawn all the turrets. Thankfully, that went extremely well, surprisingly. I don't know why things are going so much better this time. Well, we're far from done with collecting this, because this is a huge Shine Spark puzzle. Prepare yourselves. I believe those upper blocks, no, those are bombs. Okay, those blocks are bombs. I'm just gonna use a power bomb to mark every single block in this room. As you can see, those are all speed blocks. I don't really know the point of them. I could get rid of them, I guess. Yeah, I'll just get rid of that one. All these over here are screw attack blocks, and then we can see there's more speed blocks right here, more screw attack blocks right here. What you want to do is clear out the screw attack blocks with your screw attack. And now, this is going to teach us some funky things about the Shine Spark that we wouldn't have known otherwise. So, first of all, let me just... Damn it. Alright, fine. When you do a Shine Spark, you can actually restart it by crouching on a slope and then start it again in midair. I believe the way this works is that, like, you start flying forwards in midair, but as soon as you hit the slope, you start running again like normal. And if you crouch during that time, you can start a second Shine Spark. So that's what we need to do here. Bounce on the slope, crouch again, Shine Spark through, crouch again on this slope, and then in the air we can press up to we can press up to aim upwards, and that will return us into the straight posture, and that will allow us to Shine Spark again mid-air. So, I'll just review that all real quick. Actually, oh yeah, I could just do this. Get second Shine Spark, press up, Z, there we go. Won't be Z for you, probably, but jump button is Z for me. I would like to reiterate that Shine Sparks do not work with the spin jump. You can spin jump while Shine Sparking, but you will need to aim up to return yourself to the standing straight posture. And the final thing is you can also Shine Spark during Morph Ball. And to do that, we're going to need to crouch, go down here, enter Morph Ball mode, and then start Shine Sparkling right here at the start. The slope will allow us to move across through that normally. If you start the Shine Spark in the middle of this, you'll crash into the wall. Don't ask why, I don't know. And despite all that, we're still not done. Gotta do another Shine Spark through this. That gives us a super missile tank. That's literally all that's in this room. And we're not even done. We have to do one final Shine Spark just to escape. All of that for 2 more super missiles. But hey, it's good. It's worth it. That's all for the main temple. Now, while I go back to the other thing that the other thing we can get here, I want to point out that the music in the background this is not the right way. Music in the background is kind of cool, as it is a remix of the Chozo Ruins theme from the original Metroid 2 on Game Boy. All of the Chozo Ruins that we have visited throughout the game, the Hydro Station, Industrial Complex, Tower, etc., which weren't actually called those things in the original, used the exact same music track. For this, though, they gave all the rest of the Chozo Ruins their own themes, which are remixes from other Metroid games, but they made a remix of the original Chozo Ruins for the Golden Temple, and honestly, I had absolutely no idea that that's what it was remixing for the longest time, because it sounds so different. They added it, or I think Milton Guasti, the main creator, did the music, because he was an audio engineer, so he really changed this piece. It's cool. It sounds kind of like the Chozo Ruins theme from Metroid Prime. I guess I should say Chozo Facility. I said I would say Chozo Facility. Whatever. I'm inconsistent. Sorry. Yeah, that's everything in the main cave part. The remaining stuff is over here, which... yeah, sure, I guess we can leave that marker up. Wow. Wow, that's really cool. Let's see. Down here. This is one of those secrets that is hidden off the map, and you have to remember that you can actually go up here, or that that hole even exists, in order to find it. And now, I avoided this before, but it may very well be possible to get through this without the, power bombs. Yeah, okay, you can get this missile tank before getting power bombs. You'll need to do some tricky spider balls, but you can at least get that. You do need the power bombs to open up this door. And inside is a power bomb tank. That's seriously a trend they use for so much of this game, it's weird. So you noticed while we were in the big cave over there, the sun has started to actually set. Let's go back up to our ship. It's been a long time since we've been there, since the very start of the game, and we haven't returned. Like, look, that's all the map I explored. I just went directly right at the start because there was no reason to go anywhere else. And that's because there isn't really much up there, but why not? Let's head back up there real quick. Just a neat showcase of how powerful we are now. I'm coming over here to the first Alpha Metroid because I kind of want to talk about something. The original Metroid 2 did not have save stations and recharge stations combined into one. There's a new bug here. That's cool. It actually kept them separate. The save platforms only saved your game. You were not healed or refilled on missiles. There were separate stations for those, and they were hidden inside of walls. I know that there is one up here in this Alpha Metroid cave, and that's what I wanted to point out. Just a little fun fact. AM2R... Sorry, not AM2R. Samus Returns, I think... does the same thing as well. Keeps the recharge and save stations separate, I think. But that game also overhauls so many things from the original Metroid 2. This game does too, but honestly, to a much lesser extent than Samus Returns. Like, Samus Returns is a whole different beast to this. If you're thinking of picking up Samus Returns because you're interested in this game, but you don't really want to play an unofficial game, or you're not sure you can find a safe download of it, which is reasonable, be warned that Samus Returns may not be what you expect. Anyway, yes indeed, the sun is setting, which I think is triggered after you discover the research lab with the dead research team. Welcome back to your ship. I think this is also a save point, I want to say. Yes. It is a save point. believe if you could go to it in the original, it may have recharged you, since it makes sense you'd have more supplies on your ship, but in this game, every single save point recharges you, so there's no point. Excuse me while I fly up in the sky and fill out all the map tiles. There's actually a big heal here that you cannot go to without the spider ball, I think? Not that there's any real reason to go over here. I don't think there's any secrets. Except this. Nothing we do seems to affect it. Interesting. Oh, and by the way, if you want to try and space jump back into space, you know, as the name would imply that you can do, the planet says no. And there it is, fully filled out. You can see that that hole goes somewhere, but we're not entirely sure where. Hopefully we'll find out. But it's probably like a Hollow Knight answer in that you have to just go around somewhere else. Back in the distribution center, there is a way to go back to the hydro station through these fast travel points, but I'd like to start with the industrial complex just because the fast travel thing is right here. So, the only real thing we missed here is up there in the corner. That thing required power bombs, and now we have power bombs. I believe that's the only thing left here. No, it's not. Never mind. I see something back over here. Let's burst through the sand, and where will we pop out? Right behind this guy, getting a sneak attack on him. I think this is a hallway down to the spacer beam. I can just screw attack the sand. I actually forgot that. Alright. Let's go back in here. Check this out. Power bomb! And it's another Shine Spark puzzle. There's no way to build up speed in this room, so instead we're going to open this door, select our power bombs, and use this as our means of getting speed. I believe... Okay, now that's not a very good idea. The door is right below the fall there, so let's crouch, fall a little bit. That should be good. Yep. Get it right there, and power bomb. Go again. Yes. All that for a power bomb tank. That can be really hard to time. So yeah, do what I recommend. Do what I said. Open the door, select power bombs before you do that, and then make sure you execute all that in order. And that secret should be fine. Definitely one of the harder ones to get, though. It certainly makes speedruns quite interesting, how the speedrunner has to really master the Shine Spark puzzles, especially for Zero Mission, which had way more of them. Alright, our next thing to collect is down over here. Back in the, precursor tunnels, I guess you'd call these? I don't know. Something like that. Go through these blocks that required super missiles, and before there was nothing here, but now there's a power cell sitting here. So we want to... Oh, I think we have to use missiles, and this will also get it to go. I think we shoot it directly with missiles, it blows up, but you can shoot the ground underneath it with missiles to launch it, like so. Okay, well, that's too bad. We'll have to clear some blocks out of the way first. I forgot about that. I think those need to be cleared as well with a power bomb. Yes, there we go. Now, go. This should be very linear. Definitely not the hardest power cell puzzle in the game. Oh, there's a bomb underneath there. Oh, I think that's because... Oh, that's how you get out of here, I'm guessing. If you don't have, if you don't have missiles, or if you don't have super missiles or anything, if you accidentally get yourself stuck in here and you run out of super missiles, that's how you get out of here. That's cool. Because it just takes you down to the save point. I remember going down there thinking that it was a secret and it didn't have anything. I guess I must have missed it in this playthrough. Interesting. All that for another power bomb tank. It's okay. Alright, we're we're getting close on powerbomb tanks. Just a note, you have an absolute maximum once you've collected every single super missile and powerbomb tank, you will have 20 of both. So that's very good to know. While we're here at the industrial complex area, let's see if... Okay, they kind of are. There are 2 rooms that I have completely missed going into in the main cave. So I think I'm actually going to head back out to the main cave briefly. I don't know why I picked that up. I was just about to use this save point. I also don't know why I headed back out the way when I was just gonna do this. Okay, whatever. I should really be using the morph ball mode more. The quick morph button more. Speaking of which, I think there is actually a control option that lets you make that button unable to be used for some reason, even though you can already do the double crouch if you prefer. Over here, there's a cracked wall, and that's because there's a bombable wall that gets you into here. And at the end of this is, I believe, yes, just a missile tank. You're expected to do this a lot earlier, because all you really need is the space jump. Actually, do you? Nah, all you need is high jump boots, because you can get across these like that, yeah. All you need is high jump boots, and that's a free missile tank for you. Which I believe you can encounter that right before going into hydro stations, so makes sense. Then, back earlier in the cave is this. I only got one of the things over here, but I completely forgot to come back and get the other. I think this one just requires the space jump, and also you're kind of expected to squeeze through here. Not really sure how. These crumbling blocks crumble so quickly, but you can use them for a little foothold. And that just gets you another missile tank. Cool. Somewhere else throughout the main cave, I don't think it's up here. I think it might be, like, here? There's some shortcut path you can go into. Yeah, I think it's right there. We'll have a much better time of encountering that. A much better time to go over that. So, for now, I actually think I'm going to go into the hydro station, because I'm right nearby. No reason not to. Remember how annoying these guys were? Now look at them. Buffoons. So while I'm solving this power cell puzzle, that's probably what you expected if you remember what's in here, I might as well mention, since I'm gonna forget otherwise, that all the bosses in this game, with the exception of Arachnus, are new to AM2R. In the original Metroid 2, Arachnus was the only boss that carried over, that really existed other than the Metroids. Other than that, the Metroids were all that there were. Plus the final boss, of course. And on that, I don't think Samus Returns actually adds as many bosses. It certainly adds a couple, but only a couple. AM2R, goes to add a single boss present in every single area, and I like that a lot, because it makes the areas kind of feel like a world from a platformer, which I know might not be a good thing to some out there, but I kind of like it. I don't know. It just feels natural that every area has its own boss, or has a special boss to encounter, even if the bosses may or may not be required. I don't know, they're kind of what characterizes those locations to me. Alright, power cell's in, and now we have yet another Shine Spark puzzle! I think, oh, this takes super missiles. What you want to do is shoot at this block right here that had the little bird face on it. That will destroy everything, except for these 2 down here. If you destroy those 2, you will not have a flat ground to be able to run across. Then I think... Okay, it's actually not a Shine Spark. Okay, my bad. It's not a Shine Spark puzzle at all. You just run. Alright. It's a run puzzle. And that wraps up Hydro Station, right? Wrong. I'm not a huge fan of this. But there is actually another secret in the breeding grounds that we'll have to go back for. I'm not a huge fan of it because there's not much indication at all that it's here. Let me see if I can remember how to access it. It's like... Okay, I guess if you bombed these blocks and you have a really good memory, you could probably remember this. But yeah, this got me stuck for a long time, making me wonder where the remaining items were, and I had to go look at a full map of the game, and then I had to scan each area, and then I saw this, and I was like, well, how was I supposed to know this was here? There are 2 items, Missile Tank and Powerbomb Tank. I believe, what's this tag? Okay, to get the power bomb tanks, you, guess what? Use a power bomb. Why is every single power bomb tank locked behind a power bomb wall? That's all you need to do to get like half the power bomb tanks. Just power bomb something. The missile tank requires a bit of extra route. Down here, to be specific. Where we fought the 3 Alpha Metroids. I remember when, like, the first 2 areas had nothing but Alpha Metroids, and then I think at the very end of this area had the Gamma. Down here is where you got yourself... Somewhere up there's a speed block. Reveal yourself. Oh, it's actually over here. I was going based off the minimap, but it's actually over here. From here, it's very simple. You just run, and then you lose your Shine Spark. Where do you need shine? Okay. You stand on this block while you do it. Good to know. I kind of like how the game is kind of split into blocks, just like Minecraft. Wow, okay. Let's see. Can I do it from here? Yes. And there we go. That gets us a missile tank. Let's check our item percentage. 92. We are getting very close. A secret effect of the gravity suit. You'll notice that I'm standing on these tendrils that were previously harmful. They are no longer harmful thanks to our gravity suit. And the same goes for magma. We are still blocked from extra areas by the magma, because the game will place big blocks in our way and only remove them if we drain it, which makes sense, because I guess those things would be plugging the magma, and it would drain because those rocks moved. Really, the earthquakes just move the rocks out of the way, not just the magma. Anyway, if we end up falling into magma though, gravity suit doesn't care. You are immune. In other Metroid games though, you are not immune to acid. Specifically Super Metroid. The acid in the magma in Super Metroid looks very, very similar, so it's a very minute difference, but you are immune to magma, but not acid in that game. So, how would you actually get to the Hydro Station? Well, I'll show you. That's actually something different. Hold on. I'll get back to that in a bit. In this room, these over here were screw attack blocks. Behind them is a fast travel to somewhere. It also deposits you here. Wow, that's cool. I freaking love that. It's right under your nose. This takes you to the tower. And this room will loop up and out. Oh, you actually get a missile tank. Good thing I came down here. I forgot about that. You loop up out here to the pool on to the pit on the right side of the tower. Then you can head in here, and I don't think I ever showed this, but over here are some screw attack blocks that will take you to the tower's fast travel point. And this takes it back to the hub. And yes, this one goes to the tower. A really cool detail about these pipes is that they always go to their start is on the exact same axis as their end. See, there's the Golden Temple one on the right, the Industrial Complex one. Get rid of that. And the reason why the one for the tower goes to the left instead is because the tower's to the left. And that's how they had to make up the system where you go to the tower first, and then you go down to that one to go up to the Hydro Station. Because the Hydro Station is not at all, it's diagonally away from the distribution center. That is a really cool detail and something that I wouldn't expect them to do for the big fast travel tubes. I would expect them to do it for these, but not the fast travel ones. That's just so cool. I like that. I frigging love this fast travel system for so many reasons. Not only because it makes perfect sense in universe. This is the distribution center, so naturally it'll lead all over the world, but because of how well designed it is. Because as you play this game, you kind of feel like you're unveiling the world, and I think the fact that there are no map stations that give you a piece of the map helps a lot with that. And so it makes it all the more rewarding when you discover what is essentially the final Chozo facility, and your reward is a fast travel system that allows you to go back to all the other Chozo facilities you visited to make the world feel all the more connected. And it also really helps for the backtracking section of the game, because otherwise the backtracking would be tedious as hell with how linear this game is. The original game, which didn't have any kind of fast travel, just didn't have you backtrack at all aside from one instance that I'll go over a little bit later. And with small details like how every single, the start and end of each tube is on the exact same axis whether horizontal or vertical, that's just awesome. I love that addition. Alright, I'm headed back to the industrial complex, because although I did actually forget to show off something in the hydro station, I'll have to go back there, but I'll just cut to it later. There is something a little special that I will cover first. Remember, at the research lab, thing that I mentioned a little bit ago, there was somewhere that we could only go with what we now know to be power bombs. I'm wondering, how do you access this thing again? I'm heading backwards because I actually forgot that I wanted to show the weird little shortcut path you get. I think it's down here somewhere. Yeah, it should be right here. Takes speed. Thankfully, there's plenty of room to do it here. It's just below the entrance to the mining facility. You have to shine spark? Nah, okay. And then you can go right through here and come out the other side. That is a one-way tunnel, because you cannot go back. Those are crumbling blocks, but it's a quick way over here, I guess. That actually is a lot faster than taking the long way around like I was about to do. Anyway, we're going to head back to the research lab and bomb that open. It reveals itself to be an elevator shaft, and the elevator is now active. Though we can actually just jump all the way to the top. But no, I'm gonna use the elevator. G.F.S. Thoth. The G.F.S. Thoth is a Griffin-class ship. Once an escort of Olympus-class battleships, it has since been converted into a research vessel. Its crew has continuously helped the Federation explore planets, ancient civilizations, and study species throughout the galaxy. The Thoth carries portable drilling machinery for excavations. The ship landed on a small valley. The present dig site connects directly to the underground research lab. An Anhur-class gunship is also nearby, registered to the rescue team. Way back when we discovered the research lab, we had heard about a intact vessel somewhere. This is that vessel. Front door is right there, but as usual, I'd like to explore everywhere else first. And this is a much slower part of the game, so I think we should slow down as well. I'm turning off the speed booster for now. Just to make us be able to run without having to constantly trigger the speed booster every 5 seconds. This is just another pretty much open surface area of SR-388. You can similarly try to space jump into the stars and be denied the right. This. Just a little frog guy guarding a power bomb tank. Since we had to power bomb our way up here, we are also spending power bombs to get more power bombs. Something about this... I don't know. This cave... I don't know, I'm getting really bad vibes from that cave. I think I should stay away. We got the powerbomb tank from it, so thankfully we never have to go back in. If you'll excuse me, I'm going to paint this guy. Actually, no. I think first I'm going to climb on top of the gunship. Or the Thoth. The gunship. This is not the gunship. Satellite dish. Probably to communicate with the Federation chilling right above. PFC G Dutch. What's got Dallas so spooked? I, for one, can't wait to put these ice rifles to the test, preferably on those Metroid things everybody keeps yakking about. I read the intel, keep the suckers frozen till the squad demos shatter them with their rocket launchers. Teamwork! I just hope they've gotten good practice in anywhere but the outdated Survivor arenas. Their Metroid holograms are a joke. And now you died on the roof of the freaking ship. I just love... Every soldier in every sci-fi thing ever is so confident and then they just die. This reveals a little part of the ship, as we could see on the map, but of course we're not actually in there. We can't see what room that is. Head out over here. We got another log. This is a very lore-heavy area. There's next to no combat, so just so you know. G.S.G.T.S. Oraka. Everything slowed to a crawl after we captured that blind thing a few nights ago. When I was told this operation was the chance of a lifetime, I didn't expect to waste most of my time digging with researchers. Still, I suppose this is better than my sister's assignment. Can't imagine anything more boring than patrolling the borders of Kriken Empire space. The trooper logs are all combined into one. That's why I'm not scrolling down that far. And every time you get a new log, it adds more to it. There's the gunship. Belong to the research, or the rescue team, rather. There's another powerbomb tank. 2 powerbomb tanks up here. Okay, fine, you powerbomb to get 2 powerbomb tanks instead of 1. 95%. We're getting close. Now, excuse me while I paint the sky. All good. You can see that this section is just to the right of where we landed our ship. We could have honestly landed our ship here and seen this first, if Samus had thought to do so. Now let's enter. Clearly the vessel's intact, but the team is another story. Is that like a trash sign in the background? Like instructions on how to use some trash compactor? Floodlights. This weird structure. Those are a bunch of boxes piled on top of each other. Man, such cool details. This is brand new to AM2R, just so you know. PFCM Hudson. We got a distress signal out before that bug Metroid fried the comm antenna, but the captain's an issue. He wants to look for the underground team. We just got our asses kicked and he wants us to go back out there? I've got a better idea. How about we ditch them in this planet? I don't care if I'm branded a coward or locked away with pirate bunkmates at HQ. I just want off this death trap of a rock. At least this is a not very confident soldier, and also a swear in a Nintendo game. No, it's a fan game. They're allowed to do what they want, but still. That's actually kind of surprising. Now that I didn't even notice it before, but now that I am noticing it, it's kind of strange. Not even Metroid has swears usually. 1 LT, 1 Lieutenant, I guess, N. Palmer. This is a disaster. First we detected a tremor emanating from the underground camp's elevator, then Ash's radar picked up 3 Metroid signals heading our way. One of them was different, looked like an insect and shot lightning at us. The ice rifles couldn't stop the thing. Oraka covered us as we fled to the ship. The last I saw was that thing flying away with her body. Screams. I can't get her screams out of my head. Wonder where they could have gotten the name Ash from. Sounds familiar. Now here's the back door. Don't really care about that. We've gotten the powerbomb tank over there. Here's a very short elevator. Captain A. Dallas. Captain Dallas. That also sounds familiar. I wonder how they could have gotten that name. I wonder how they came up with that name. I escorted Ash back to the Thoth after the underground camp gave him samples from what they described as a large translucent husk. He's concerned about what might have left it behind. I wouldn't be so worried if we had been given far more soldiers for this expedition, along with a bounty hunter or 2. HQ was confident that their intel will enable us to kill the original Metroid type, if it's not extinct by now. But on what basis do they believe that it's the only threat on SR-388? Just so you're aware, Samus is a bounty hunter. I don't know if that definition of bounty hunter means something completely different to what it actually means here in the US, at least. But Samus is supposed to be a bounty hunter. That's how she's been described in all the stories for the rest of the games. Here we got not 1, not 2, but 3 logs. And they're all some nerdy scientist experiments on Metroids, or observations, not experiments. Ash's log, number 68. Researchers' notes. The larva Metroid carries 4 nuclei organs, primarily used to stock the energy absorbed from prey. For protection, it a portion of the organ's power into the surrounding membrane and fortifies it. Only cold temperatures can hinder this flow of energy and weaken its defense. Recent findings and events suggest that 3 of the larva's nuclei eventually change into stem-like cells on SR388 to be used as building blocks for its later forms. But why only here? Is it something in its food, or some radiation the planet emits? I don't know, maybe you'll tell us in the rest of your researcher's notes. Ash's log number 71, researcher's notes. The larvae on SR388 are voracious until they metamorphose, at which point their hunger subsides. Off-world Metroids cannot normally shed their larva form, which I believe is a side effect of their adaptations. The nuclei likely alter in function when the Metroid is removed from SR388, changing into specialized cells that help the creature tolerate its surroundings. This, along with new environmental factors, cause subtle or drastic changes to its body. Regrettably, the Metroid is stuck in a perpetual hunger as it tries to reach a form it can no longer obtain. It's kind of oddly dark, like every larval Metroid you fought in the first Metroid, and the Prime games in between, was, like, constantly hungry. Again, this isn't canon lore, but it's an interesting take. Really interesting take. Ash's log number 82, radioactivity. Researchers notes, the presence of compact nuclei render the larvae highly responsive to radioactivity. For example, beta rays cause them to divide and multiply within hours, a fact that aided the space pirates in keeping a supply of specimens for many operations. Other radioactive elements enable off-world Metroids to bypass their larval phase and mutate into powerful aberrations that, if not reported by Erin herself, I'd have disregarded as fiction. It's gravely concerning to think how other forms of radioactivity can affect Metroids, and why our government must take action before anyone gets their hands on them again. I don't know why I read that as her. Beta rays, that's where the beta is. We were missing that between the alpha and gamma Metroids. Alright. We have to bomb a little passageway to get to this side of the ship. This ship was not designed very well, was it? Probably deserved to be destroyed. G.F.R. V. Kane. With an accent at the end, I don't know how you pronounce that then. The captain's been muttering about bounty hunters under his breath again. I think HQ wants to minimize their involvement with them, as their reliance on the latter to solve problems over the years might have made the government look weak. It explained why Samus, the famed Metroid killer, wasn't hired to accompany us. This could have been my chance to meet him. Then again, HQ didn't bother sending many amenities with us, so it's not like I could ask him out for a drink. Are those like little vending machines? I guess this would be a dining room of sorts. Another bombed passageway leading to a save room that looks very different from all the others. That little folding ground there is based off of the Metroid GBA games, most notably Fusion. It had a very similar looking save point to this. I think Zero Missions also looked pretty much the same. Really cool detail, since this is a Federation ship. A spaceship, and Metroid Fusion takes place on a spaceship of sorts. A space station, more like, but close enough. Alright. Here's our final room. We got what looks to be a Metroid? Is that a Metroid, or is that just some jellyfish? I don't know. There's not a lot of things that look like jellyfish in this game, so that's probably a Metroid. That's something else. That's something else. And that's a problem. I wonder if we're going to encounter that thing. Sitting on the ground over here is our very last energy tank. 10 energy tanks. Our final health count is 1099. To be honest, I probably would have been bothered anyway, because it would have been 1100 instead of something normal like 1500. Alright. That was fun. Good find. Hello! Genesis! The only boss here. Is this boss called Mega Drive in Europe? Alright, no. An ambush predator. This blind animal has adapted to hunt in the dark, relying on specialized senses to stalk prey. Its body offers little protection and will attempt to conceal itself in the shadows as a result. Its acidic blood is used as a projectile via auto-hemorrhaging. The Genesis naturally hunts in groups, making it a highly successful species with little need to evolve. Its DNA suggests it belongs to the oldest living lineage on SR388, granting its name. This blind monster isn't really that blind. because it can clearly see you, know where you are, and knows exactly where to aim. But that makes sense with how big of a range that is. Its acid spray ignores your mercy invincibility just like the other enemies we've seen so far. You can only really safely hit it when it's on the ceiling, because it's really short when it's on the ground. You can also do a close range attack like that, and I'm pretty sure that's all it can do. This boss is very easy and very simple. I think it was programmed like weeks before the release of the game. It was one of the last things added, so that makes sense. It can also be quite hard to see though with the wrong color display. My current display, actually, I could see it just fine, but it might be hard. It is hard to see on, say, like my laptop screen. Oh god, oh god, oh god. He did take out an energy tank, so it's not the easiest boss in the world, but still, that's just because I'm letting him hit me. Let me use super missiles on him. This is really all there is to the boss. Oh, you can also hurt it with beams. Cool. So this is clearly the blind animal that they were, the now dead crewmates were talking about having captured. There we go. If you didn't have space jump, that acid spray would be much harder to avoid, to be fair. To be fair to this thing. I have lost 2 energy tanks, so... I would have possibly lost even more if I didn't have the gravity suit on. But why wouldn't you have the gravity suit on by this point? I just realized, I think this music is original. I want to say it is. But the boss theme is basically just like a more catchy version of the ambient theme that's been playing all throughout this. Oh, small detail, whenever you kill a boss, it might drop health or not, depending on if you need it. Like, if you're toward full health, it might not drop any health. If you're in mid-half to low health, you'll drop health. Kind of dynamically changes based on that, in case you've been confused as to why things haven't been dropping health all the time. And with that, with the 2 powerbomb tanks and the energy tank and that boss, we've cleared the G.F.S. Thoth. You do have to come clear this out in order to get a 100%, so keep that in mind. We're at 97%. I think that's good, and all I need to do is collect 2 more items, but I think just before, I'm going to look at a full map of this game and make sure that I really have gotten everything before we actually continue. This is such a cool find. I love it. Carrion eaters have approached the vicinity, drawn to the scent of decay previously trapped within the Thoth. So that's the name of these things, the carrion eaters. They're basically just scavengers. They go to whatever's dead and try to eat it. That's why they keep trying to eat the Metroid corpses, and why that one of them showed up after we killed the Alpha Metroid at the very start, as we saw earlier in this video. G.F.S. Thoth is just friggin' cool. It's so atmospheric, and that's all I have to say. Because, you know, this research lab was cool and all, but I think it really pales in comparison to that. Oh, we can turn on the speed booster now. Heading back to the hydro station because I need to show that one thing that I forgot to. Down here, these blocks lead us to another fast travel. And this one's a little chunkier. Well, we are way off map. And here's the magma no longer hurting us. And this, we can open that door through the wall, but yeah, we can't exactly do anything about this. I guess we'll have to go to wherever that is first. This is a completely optional fast travel point, but it is good to know that it is there in case you want to get 100%. You'll see why. Okay, I just checked the full map and we are in the clear. If you have 97% and you have not gone below this point, you have not gone anywhere beyond the distribution center, you're clear. There are 3 more items to get for the end of the game, and they're all pretty obvious, very easy to get, so we do not have to worry one bit about backtracking. We're all set. We have everything that we can up to this point, which gives us 240 missiles, 18 super missiles, and 20 power bombs, although that last one isn't quite visible. Now, let's keep going. Unfortunately, I won't get to stay around long and hear this music for much longer. Sorry about that, but, I mean, we don't have anything else to get in the distribution center, so... Destroying this thing, we can be on our way. As actually, you can't go back out of there unless you destroy that. So you need to get the ice beam in order to go back out the natural way. Pretty cool. Although you could just approach this hole from the tower's edge, but whatever. With all the distribution center Metroids down, the magma is now gone from here. So let's head down. This is the final stretch of the game. And yeah, you definitely need the ice beam before you can progress. And honestly, the final stretch of the game is probably one of my favorite parts because of its interesting design. It's kind of like a long, very long linear tunnel to end it out. Because we're gonna be descending for quite a little while here. I do really like the end of this game though, it's so cool. Alright. We got you tough guys. No surprise there. Keep an eye on the map as you go. Oh, we also have you. I honestly always forget about those bats. Just because they just kind of float there, mind their own business. I'm just gonna... Oh, wow. You have enough health to withstand the ice beam. Not the screw attack, though. Secret in here. Acquire speed. Luckily, I am speed. We want to Morph Ball Shine Spark. Okay, that's not good enough. Thought that would be good enough. I think what we want to do is run back a little farther. Morph Ball here. Yes, that. You want to jump and do the Shine Spark from down here. That gets you a missile tank. One more missile tank left in the game. Hello. God, I always forget about you. Probably because you can just be screw attacked. There's no reason to be scared of any of this. I'm pretty sure you need the screw attack to progress in the, Yeah, you do. You do need the screw attack in order to progress, in order to finish the game. Another secret here. And this is just a simple bomb for a missile tank. Again, they gotta give you some easy ones, which you can pretty easily figure out unless you don't think to bomb down there, but the circle in the map kind of gives it away. And with that, 250 missiles. That is every missile tank in the game. All that's left is one super missile tank to get us to 20. Whoa. I just completely froze that guy right before he came out. Oops. Hold on. Oh, those guys now spit projectiles. I didn't even notice. Yeah, they're like the... Honestly, I think they're less annoying than the bird heads from the way up to the tower. Probably because I now have the screw attack, and I didn't have the screw attack while dealing with those guys. Alright. 6 Metroids remain. I can't exactly find out where that... What's up there? Oh, we're about to be blocked off, aren't we? Yep. Can't go through here. I don't think any of this is bombable. Yep. That's an example of the rocks getting in our way. Of the boulders. We must head up here first. 1 Metroid detected. Kinda ominous, now that we know how powerful they can be. Left or right? I think right first. There's a lot of empty rooms here. There is wildlife, but it's all the hardy types. All of the wildlife from the early areas that seem to be just chilling are absent down here. And that's there's probably a reason for that. Because they cannot withstand the power of the almighty Alpha Metroid! Our final, our first of the 6 final Metroids is an Alpha Metroid. Oh my god. Okay, sure. That's very funny. I'm just gonna use regular missiles on you. I shouldn't spend super missiles. There we go. That's the one Metroid. Now we get to progress, right? If that single Alpha Metroid got rid of all the freaking wildlife out here, the fauna down here, I should call it fauna. It's faster to say than wildlife. And this cave just loops back. So yeah, it's just a big loop. One Metroid? Well, I just killed one. And we're blocked. Okay then. I'll go back through. There's even magma in here now. Guess I'll go back through. Wow. Interesting. Well, fuck! This Metroid has evolved! Omega Metroid, the apex predator of SR388. The Omega Metroid exhibits devastating strength. An impact from its claws can severely cripple or kill large animals, while the most heavily armored prey are flung through the air. Despite its towering figure, it can leap and use its weight as a weapon. Glands in the mouth and ignite its saliva, turning it into an organic flamethrower. Its membrane has greatly thickened. Maximum firepower is strongly recommended. This is the final stage in a Metroid's life cycle, and very few manage to reach it. Its size is a result of the prior form's muscles rapidly expanding to massive proportions. This Omega Metroid just completely killed the search and rescue team that was sent in and has never been heard from again. That was them, and now they're all dead. As for the Metroid itself, I'll be honest, this is one of the easiest Metroids to fight. It's so much slower than the Zeta Metroid in nearly every way, despite its huge size. I'll give it one thing though, it has one strength. Every time it lands on the ground, except for that. Except for when it's charging. Oops, okay. That's a decent attack. Every time it jumps and lands on the ground, if you can do that please, thank you. You get knocked and damaged from that. But all you have to do is just make sure you jump every time it's about to land. Simple enough. You also do have to jump to hit its weak spot now, but still, its acid spit has been replaced with a flamethrower attack, but not only does it not reach as far, but it's so much slower to come out, you have plenty of time to get away from it. What's more, you see after it jumps, it opens up its back, that little spot on its back. If you can manage to hit that with a missile, you deal more damage. Which just ends up killing this thing faster than even a Zeta Metroid. Yeah, in my opinion, the Zeta Metroids are the true hardest Metroid in the game, and this one can swipe you if you're too close. I don't think it can block your attacks though, which is good because you have to jump and land a precise shot anyway, so that's probably for the best. Can I? Okay. I'm gonna see if I can try to land one. But yeah, that's really all they've got, and they're not that hard at all. They move so slow, and they don't even deal that much damage. We have 10 energy tanks. Oh god, okay. That was good. That was good, honestly. That was a really smart strategy. He knocked me back and then used the flamethrower. Yeah, this is all there is. A little fun fact about Zeta Metroids in the original. Zetas and Omegas in the original. They used to fly, just like the Gammas and the Alphas. And I think a design change that came later in, like, Metroid Fusion made it so that Omega Metroids now walk on legs. And so the AM2R developers did the same thing for Zeta Metroids in this game. Because you do fight an Omega Metroid at the end of Metroid Fusion. Just as a small encounter. He does have a lot of health, but really, that's just making it more tedious than anything. Okay, he drained 3 energy tanks, but still. Alright, 4 Metroids left. Someone didn't like that. The search and rescue team was an elite combat group consisting of heavily armed soldiers. Their mission: locate and extract any surviving personnel from the missing research team. There are no survivors among the search and rescue team. But hey, they left us a super missile tank! Look on the bright side! That is every item in the game. You should now be at a 100%. No more reason to worry about secrets because there are none from this point on. Only Metroids to kill. So let's go. So yeah, kind of fun fact, the Zeta Metroid we fought in the distribution center is actually the last Zeta Metroid in the game. And the 2 Gammas we fought were the 2 last Gamma Metroids in the game. And that Alpha we fought right before, as a little joke, is the last Alpha Metroid in the game. We're fighting only Omegas from here on. And can I say that's a good thing? Yeah. They're fun. They're just really easy. I do think at one point, though, they were really powerful in the very first version of AM2R, like almost too powerful, to the point where the only official update, I guess, the only update that the original creator made ended up nerfing them. But honestly, I think they got nerfed a little too hard. I think they got over-nerfed. Oh god. I don't know if hard mode makes them any harder. I do know that the Metroids are made harder overall on hard mode, which makes sense. It's freaking hard mode. But I'm not sure how hard Omega Metroids were, because I never made it that far in my attempts at hard mode. I might make a second attempt at hard mode, because maybe Torizo isn't actually as hard as I was thinking. This is kind of interesting. We got all sorts of bubble dudes, and all the same armored guys. Nothing down there. No secrets left. I just wanted to fill out the maps. The map, I mean. Over here is a save point. Keep going. Get rid of you. Once again, I really love the subtle glow they add to many of the enemies that are hovering above magma. That's cool. I really didn't have to do that. Oh, this is actually kind of a... Was that a cave we were in previously? No. No, it can't be. Now we're kind of ascending, as opposed to descending. I believe the lowest point on the map is the power plant, which I completely failed to mention. We just crossed past that mysterious room on the mini-map. Ooh, this place is dark. We're gonna have a repeat of Area 3 breeding grounds, or Industrial Complex breeding grounds. They have names in this game. They got those guys. I don't know if those guys act like the same enemy from Super Metroid. Not the same enemy, but the enemy from Super Metroid, where if you kill it, the room gets darker. I don't think they do. I think the lighting is the same. In that case, let me kill them, because they're annoying. Like, they just dash back and forth. That's all I do all day. Must be fun, though. Looks kind of fun. Only kind of fun, though. They look kind of like eyes. Is this Cthulhu? Three Metroids detected in the area. The first Metroid game, and by extension Super Metroid, do have small sections of the map that are all bubbly like this. However, I think this is the best version of it. Assuming that the original Metroid 2 was the same, was also a bubbly area, because I don't actually know. Because this one feels like it has a lot more purpose. It's a huge bubbly area, toward the end of the game, which makes sense. We're still not getting our special log entry about this place, until now. This is the Nest. It's a minor area, so it doesn't have a big title on the screen. This area is infested with thick globe-like masses composed mostly of crystallized carbohydrates. Those that have yet to harden are constantly moved by the airflow created from the slightest motion of nearby creatures. Only the most adaptable life forms can thrive in this ecosystem. You know, like the things that bounce from side to side. Are those the carbohydrates that haven't hardened yet? I don't know. Down here is yet another save point. I don't really think the save point from earlier was very necessary, but we're just gonna get another one right here. Like, yeah, that one at the bottom. Yes, look at that really long, hard climb that we had to take to get up here. So yeah, I love the Nest as a way to contextualize the bubbly area and make it one big bubbly area instead of this just random bubbly room that doesn't make much sense. But I feel like it's kind of underwhelming, and I'll show you why. It acts like the breeding grounds from earlier. It's pretty linear, and there are just a bunch of branches that go off into rooms. Also kind of functions similarly to that tower in that way. And at the end of each room is an Omega Metroid! They are pretty beastly and imposing looking, just really easy to fight. Ow, almost. And yeah, that's it. There are 3 Metroids here, all of them are Omega Metroids, and they're at the end of 3 different branches of this area. That's it. That's all that's in here. Almost got away from that. Oops. That was my mistake. I think this Omega Metroid has given me way more trouble than the previous one already. What the hell? It's because he has such a big collision box. I'm gonna use mostly super missiles on him, because I've got so many. We have 20 of them. Fuck, I forgot to jump. No, missed that. Oh, nice. That works really well. Can you give me some back? Gave me 3 back. That's really nice. And yeah, that's it. Just 3 Omega Metroids at the end of 3 paths, and nothing really changes with them at all. Like, even with the tower, that one Zeta Metroid had spikes in the arena. Just as a minor spoiler, that never happens here. All of their arenas are identical. At least you can't easily be hit out of them, smacked out of the arena. That's nice, but still. This room is twice the size, so you'd think there'd be more here. There isn't. At least this music's decent. Not my favorite, but it's a cool little bit of ambience. In here is, guess what? Omega. This one has a little more detail to him. He's got something growing out of his back, and he has like a more armored looking head. What does this mean? Nothing. He's the exact same. I don't know, maybe he has more health or does more damage or something, but in Metroid, damage doesn't matter all that much. I got the hit. Okay. I should be able to kill him much faster now. Oh my god. It's hard to tell which jump he's gonna do. Wow! So much for your little armored head there. Alright, one more. It's back down here. Alright, you dropped a super missile, that's nice. Back down here, I did go past it, as if you were paying attention to the map. I did go past this. But that's on purpose. Reason why is because of oh, yeah, this. We are blocked by magma yet again. Must kill these 3. And this, over here, is the penultimate Metroid. And it's the exact same Omega Metroid that we fought 3 times now. Oh, actually, wait. You have a really armored head. Wow. Okay. I guess they update their visuals depending on which ones you kill first. That's cool. Again, means absolutely nothing, but it's there. Almost got that. I got so many super missiles. Just listen, buddy. you are kind of a little boring to fight, if I must be honest. So I'm gonna use super missiles on you. The Zeta Metroids were like constantly attacking you, but these guys, they're so slow about it. Maybe hard mode does them justice, but I don't know. I don't know yet. Nope. Down he goes. Whatever that was, sounded big. One Metroid left. The path is open. Let's go. Some more empty hallways. Can at least see some kind of animal. Other than you. Oh! Well, I got my wish. And there's you guys. They've been hiding down here, avoiding the Omega Metroids above. Well, the other wildlife hasn't been so lucky. I will say, though, Samus Returns, strangely enough, doesn't actually reduce the number of regular enemies to indicate that the Metroids are eating them. Samus Returns actually has, like, just as many enemies as it has throughout that game's entire runtime, which is a lot of them. I mean, there are quite a few animals here, I guess. Yeah, these guys count as well. They're in the section of the nest that's actually survivable, because it's so bright here. But then there's these caves. These caves have nothing in them. And it's like I said earlier. I think it's supposed to indicate that the Metroids were eating them. And because the Metroids are so powerful and so prevalent down here, of course they'd leave nothing behind. Not even the husks. It's also just kind of a neat build-up to the ending of the game. And to the final Metroid that awaits us. This game is weird. The whole idea of having to kill a bunch of things in an area just so you can move on to the next one, taking everything on in a very linear order, is very strange. This definitely wasn't the last linear Metroid game. Metroid Fusion is very linear. Metroid Prime 2 is pretty linear. But it is definitely strange for the game at the time, especially when the first Metroid was the interconnected Metroidvania you'd come to expect. Especially after playing Super Metroid, this game is just kind of weird in that regard. And you know, this remake, although I do sort of miss the interconnectedness of Super Metroid, this path just takes you back down to an earlier cave. It's kind of weird. I do miss the interconnectedness of Super Metroid. I mean, I do have Hollow Knight, so I could just play that if I want. But I still really enjoy this more linear experience for what it's worth. Because I don't know. Just something about it kind of reminds me of a collectathon game like Super Mario 64 or Banjo-Kazooie. And I've only played... actually, I've played Mario 64 and Spyro, but I like the idea of collectathons, and this kind of reminds me of that. Although it has more, like, Metroid elements in it. Because, you know, you go to a level, you collect every Metroid. And then you can move on. And then you might backtrack for some missiles or something later, but still. It's also odd that despite being on the Game Boy as opposed to the NES, the map of Metroid 2 is technically bigger than the map of Metroid 1. Kinda strange. Little Game Boy was surprisingly powerful. Though, definitely not that powerful. As soon as the Metroids went off screen in the original version, they stopped moving. That's a familiar looking icon in the stone there. Let's see what this is. Sort of pointless save point. Actually, no, it's not. This room, that fast travel room, is right through this door. It is now unlocked. If you are missing anything, you can head back to the hydro station through there and get them much easier. And then come back when you're ready. But as for us, we do not need to go back through there. Instead, we must progress. See what this place is all about. If anywhere, this is where our last Metroid resides. Translation in progress. Yeah, I'd like you to translate that. Let me know if it says something like, I'm gonna kill your whole family, because that's what it looks like it's gonna say. It's a destroyed Chozo statue holding that as well. Strange. 9 Metroids detected in the area. The counter went back up. That can only mean one thing. They were recently born. This late in the game, and we're just now fighting larval Metroids. If they hug you, you want to bomb them to get them off, and shoot them with the ice beam, and then missile them. You better get good at switching between your beams and missiles, because that is very necessary as we go through here. You can tell if there's a Metroid in the room with you because the doors will lock. Thanks for that title. This is the Genetics Laboratory. Suspended above an abandoned city are the remains of a laboratory. Scanners confirm there was an extremely sophisticated equipment to be found. Along with scientific data of incalculable magnitude, only stasis tanks are left. Organic traces within suggest genetic research and DNA manipulation. Biogenic substance of an unknown age coat the laboratory walls. There's Chozo stuff here. Is this their doing? And they even have Metroid icons. A super missile will kill them in one hit. I think I'm actually just gonna use regular missiles on them. It's more fun that way. What the hell is that in the background? Alright. Nothing in here. Metroids will spawn out of the background and then fly towards you. There we go. There we go. The Metroids are really fast and ruthless in this game. They weren't quite the same in Super Metroid, but Zero Mission really made them super fast. And that carries over to this game as well. They're not the worst things in the world. We're killing them. We're down to 5 again. But still. Got some familiar looking crystals right there. Oh god. As soon as they latch onto you, it can be really hard to finish them off. Standing inside them like that is kind of a risk, but it's one I'm willing to take. Some of you may die, but that is a risk I'm willing to take. 3 left. Is that a bomb? Yes, we must bomb this. And that's a trap! Just like the gamer from earlier, now we fight 2 at once. They're not bad, just... There we go. Got 1, and I'm about to get the other. Back down to 1. Just when you thought they couldn't get any bigger, Queen Metroid! The only Metroid organism naturally capable of producing offspring. The Queen is the heart of the species and mother of every Metroid born on SR388. Her role in the hive has hindered her mobility, yet encouraged the development of a long neck and massive head to strike at a distance. Her cell structure indicates she is heavily aged, possibly as old as the lab she is settled in. The years have reinforced her torso to impenetrable levels. The Queen's genetic coding is distinct from the other Metroids, and she may have gone through a unique life cycle to obtain her form. She has 2 attacks. One where she disables her invincibility shield, and then starts to ram her head at you. You must try to juke her while you do this, and while she does this, and try to get some hits in on your own. She'll then back up, making herself invincible, and launch those at you. They drop pickups. Just kill those with the beam, and then missile her in the head. And that's it. She'll cycle between these 2 attacks. But this is definitely far from all there is to the fight. Just for now, that's everything. Look at the size of this thing! It's crazy. I don't think the Queen Metroid has ever been brought up since Metroid 2. So this is just a creature that existed this one time, and then... well... is it a spoiler to say that we win? Oh god. Not dodging your jukes very well, but it's fine. I still have all my energy tanks, and I'm only getting more health as I keep doing this. Why don't we switch to super missiles? She has a slightly bigger reaction to super missiles. An awesome detail. Okay. Like to draw those all in. She's now giving us more of those. As long as they stand back and kill them before they can reach us, we should be good. Man, you've got a lot of health. And she really does. This fight is pretty long. Oh god. Now she's ramming faster, giving us less time to jump. Oh, I want those. Managed to get them before they disappeared. Nope. Oh god. She blasts the back wall and the fight is nowhere near done! Kinda cornering us. She doesn't really use that to her advantage, but... hey, at least the ram is actually easier to avoid now because she can only do it either up or down. Can only really hit her when she's, ramming her head up, but that's okay. I guess these things might be a little more difficult to deal with in a crowded situation. Can I get those, please? She's completely immune to the beams, just like the rest of the Metroids. Except the larval ones. Alright, come on. Now she switches it up a little more. Alright, we've gotten her enough again. Go into Morph Ball mode to avoid the fireball. And then continue. Oh god. I got too close. Alright, she'll do the same thing again here. And she'll launch more of this. Oh god. Got her a lot there. I think I'm gonna use super missiles next time. Yep. There we go. Back even further. In this new arena, she will resume her attack patterns from Phase 1. Like so. But she gains an additional attack. The same acid spray ability as the Zeta Metroids. And then, as it's disappearing, she launches those. Oh god. I did not do that very well. Drops the acid. And then we can stand right there. Oh god, that's missiles. Thankfully, most of them seem to disappear really quickly. Alright. Been juking her unintentionally, but I've been juking her pretty well. Alright. There we go. It's a little harder to get pickups out of them now. Alright, I'll stand there. Closer. I got none of them. Okay. Nope. A little too early. Also a little too early. Or a little too late, actually. She hit me. Alright, now she's speeding up. She never changes up her attack pattern. She always cycles through the same attacks. They just get stronger and stronger. I don't think the acid breath changes, actually. Might as well use super missiles. Or their face damaged even more. She blasts yet another fireball. Leading us to this corner of the cave. I can't really see anywhere to go from here. And now she tries to eat us. We can pump missiles like this. Or we can let it happen. Go into Morph Ball. Crawl into her stomach. Equip a power bomb and let her rip. And that's the last Metroid. Well, almost. Probably the best final boss in any 2D Metroid game. In my opinion. As much as I love Mother Brain from Super Metroid, I like it more for the story reasons than the actual fight. And it's friggin' cool, and such an upgrade from the original game. Although, the original game's boss didn't seem that bad. Since he didn't have super missiles or anything else, though, it's just kind of missile spam. That was it. And now with that done, let's go home. So one Metroid still remains. But I think this one can live. He's friendly. For now, anyway. But we can contain him. Right? Let's not just go home. Let's take him home with us. The baby Metroid eats those crystals. They are blocking our path, so to be honest, without this baby Metroid, we can't actually progress. Maybe I'll take him to some researchers, and they can find out more about them. We don't know a whole lot about the Metroid species. We know a lot, but not a whole lot. I'll be sure to tell them not to use them as a bioweapon, though. Besides, I have a feeling, sometime in the future, this little guy is gonna save our life. And now I leave you with the walk. We have released the Ultimate Warriors. They have far surpassed our expectations, as well as our control. Even so, we are stricken with guilt and grief as we leave them in a universe that is not ready for their existence. Pray for their success. Pray for the safety of all life in the cosmos. I love escape sequences to cap off these games just as much as the next guy. But this game already had one, and there's nothing wrong with a nice, calm walk back to the surface with this beautiful night sky and nighttime color. We technically didn't actually kill every Metroid, but all of the harmful and dangerous ones are gone. For better or for worse, we have committed genocide on an alien species. Hopefully there are no huge consequences with that. For now, though, I call that mission accomplished. And that was another Metroid 2 remake. A really fun game, and really good for being just a fan game. I mean, just a fan game. You could do amazing things with fan games. It's unfortunate the Nintendo disagreed anyway. Metroid 2 is such an interesting entry in the Metroid games, just for the linearity, and although I kinda like it, I can see why it wouldn't be everyone's favorite thing and why they prefer more interconnected Metroidvania. Because, I mean, I played Hollow Knight for the first time, and that was like one of my favorite games ever. So I totally agree with that. But I think Metroid 2 has its own little fun factor in it, and this game brings it out tenfold. I have not played the original, nor have I played Samus Returns. I kind of plan on it, although I'm not sure I could really find a Samus Returns copy that easily, and especially a copy of the original, though I could emulate it, but yeah, I think this game overall is great, and if you could track down a download, it is definitely worth playing. And also, there is a whole lot more to this game, especially with the community updates, so this is not the last video in this series. I'm going to make a bonus video that goes over all the remaining difficulty modes and other modes, because there's a lot of different ways you can play this. What I just played now is considered normal game. There are 2 other modes and ways to play this game besides that. So, 4 hours, 31 minutes, item collection 100%. That clear time would totally be lower if I wasn't doing these videos. I really hope you enjoyed this little series I made, as much as I enjoyed making it. Thank you all for watching, if you did watch, and as always, I will see you next mission.
The last Metroid is in captivity. The galaxy is at peace.